with the full hijab and everything, and then she leaves her house, the shaitan who will beautify her. So be careful of this tool that the shaitan uses. And the Prophet ﷺ has said, verily this dunya is cursed, and all that is on it is cursed, except for the remembrance of Allah and all that goes with it, and a scholar and a student, meaning the students of knowledge. Everything else is cursed. Because you can't go wrong with knowledge. How can you go wrong? Because the knowledge of Allah, the knowledge of Islam. How can you go wrong with this? So you may be asking yourself, that if this dunya is cursed, why are we attracted to it? Why? Firstly, we are so attracted to the dunya, it is because we can actually physically taste it, feel it, see it. But when someone comes up to you and says, Ya akhi, fear Allah, or pray, or do so and so, you're going to get Jannah, you're going to get these palaces in heaven. Can you see it? You can't. So for the weak Muslim, it's very hard for them to understand. But if you have Iman in your heart, and you understand, and you have tawakkul in Allah, you understand that what is in the hereafter is better than everything on this earth. Also, the other reason for us being attracted to the dunya, it is because we have a shaitan. He sits there like a radio 24/7 in your head whispering. And this is a big problem. Whenever he feels that you're going to do khair, or you're going to do good, or you're going to do some act that is religious, he starts to whisper. He starts saying, what do you want to go to a lecture for? What are you going to benefit? You've heard plenty of lectures. Why go pray in the mosque when you can pray at home? What's the difference? He starts to play on you. Allah, you've been working all day. Take it easy. Just pray your fara'id. Don't worry about the sunnah. Don't pray the sunnah prayers. This is the way he attacks the people, and unfortunately these days we fall for it. I ask everyone a question. How many people here in this room actually pray all the sunnah prayers? Don't put your hands up, answer in your heart. How many people actually pray every sunnah? The way these days we weigh the person that is religious, we weigh him by saying this person gets up and prays Fajr. And it's true. And the next question, how many of us actually get up every day and pray Fajr on time? Do you see how far back we've gone? Do you see how the shaitan actually pounces on us and uses his tools against us? Yaqi, you're tired, it's cold. It's cold for us. Don't get up. He doesn't want to see you enter heaven. Also, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has made this dunya a test to see whether you're going to pass or not. He wants to see whether you want this world or the hereafter. Now think what you work for. Think in what you believe. Think whether you put the religion before your worldly goods or your worldly benefit. My dear brothers and sisters in Islam, one of the main desires that man has, one of the main injections, the main narcotic that we have on this earth is wealth. Now generally in Islam, having wealth is halal. It's allowed. But for the person who misuses it, it's going to be used against him on the Day of Judgment. But if you use it towards your benefit, you can firstly benefit yourself and your family. You can feed the orphans, you can feed the poor, and you can benefit the Muslims in general. So it is a good thing. It's a good thing to have wealth if you know what you're doing. And we discourage any person that actually sits in a mosque 24/7, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week in a mosque and just worships Allah. This is not what Islam or what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala wanted from you. And subhanallah, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala loves the Muslim that is strong rather than the weak one. Because what can the weak do? A weak person, physically or financially, what can he do? But a strong Muslim, he can either physically work, or if he's got wealth, he can actually help the masakin. He can help build mosques. He can help educate. He can do a lot of things. And subhanallah, how many Muslims do you find working security in the governments? And what I mean is the Muslims, they go to Social Security every fortnight and they hand in the dole form. Is this the strong Muslim? Is this what you call a strong Muslim? Let's have a look at one of the Sahaba. His name was Uthman radiallahu anhu. Uthman was known to be very rich. And at the time of the Khalifa of Umar radiallahu anhu, there was a year that there was a severe drought. It was to the extent where the people would actually eat the leaves of the trees. There was nothing. Could you imagine the hunger? And then at one time, the traders, the people who used to buy and sell, found out that Uthman had 100 camel loads of goods coming from the Sham. So they ran to him and they said, "Oh Uthman, we will buy this load, we will buy these goods for double and triple the amount." And then Uthman said, "I've been promised a better offer." Now you're thinking you can make instant money, instant cash. So what did Uthman say? He said, "I have been promised a better offer." And they were amazed. "What do you mean? How much were you offered?" He said, "I was offered 10 times the amount." And they said, "What? 10 times the amount?" He said, "Yes, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has promised me 10 times. And then he gave all the 100 camel loads to the people in Medina. Now you think about it, how many people, if at the moment now we were starving, we had no food, we were eating the leaves of the trees, how many of us would have given this away? More than likely we would have saved half, hidden it. You know, we want to eat, don't worry about the other people. And we would have sold the other half, we would have said, "Okay, give me 5 times the amount." Not 3 or 4, 5 times the amount. And that we would have been really happy with that. The Sahaba, they worked very hard for the Akhirah. They worked very hard. The Muslim should understand. The Muslim should understand it does not matter how hard you work, because Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, He's decreed how much you're going to earn. So whether you're a person who works day and night, and this is part of our aqidah and belief, Allah decreed everything. So whether you work day and night, you don't sleep, you work 7 days a week, Allah is going to give you what He's given you. So there's no use stressing and saying, "Ya Allah, what's happening? What's going on?" Allah has decreed what you're going to get. So for the person who earns $500 a week, if Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has put barakah, has put His blessings into this money, he will survive as if he earns $1,000, $2,000 a week. And the person that earns $1,000 or earns $2,000 a week, if Allah hasn't put that blessing into his money, he's always going to be in debt. And you see it. You see people that always constantly work, but they're not as religious as they should be, but Allah doesn't bless their money. Do you think that you physically make your money? Do you honestly believe that you yourself, you're making this money? Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has blessed you with this money. We must beware of greed, my dear brothers and sisters in Islam. This evil injection is one of the main problems that we are facing in our Muslim community. The Prophet ﷺ, he knew that this nation one day will be open to get all this wealth after the death of the Prophet ﷺ. The Prophet actually feared for us in this fitna, in this trial, more than the trial of starvation. He didn't worry if we would starve, but he worried if we got wealth. Because then you become arrogant. You feel like you're better than other people. Because when you're needy, what do? Ya Rabb, feed me. I've got no food. I've got no water. I've got no car. I've got no house. I've got no clothes. But when you're full, you don't worry about no one. You're full. Murtah. You sit back on your lounge, comfortable, watch the TV and all this. The Prophet ﷺ said, surely this dunya is sweet and fresh. And Allah makes you the inheritors of this dunya. And then He watches what you do. So beware of the dunya and beware of women. My dear brothers, keep your ears open. Beware of women. Also the Prophet ﷺ said, 2 hungry wolves let loose amongst a flock of sheep are not more harmful than a person's craving after wealth and status is to his religion. Could you imagine 2 hungry wolves if they saw sheep?